Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV. Welcome to the match preview of our upcoming game tomorrow against Crystal Palace, our bogey team. It's going to be a very interesting game today. I'm going to switch things up a bit with today's video. In the second part of today's video, I'm going to have on Ollie from Talk Crystal Palace, where he's going to run us down who Crystal Palace are, what to expect from them tactically, and who their danger men are going to be. But you guys, before I get straight into things, smash that like button, help me get more than 500 likes for today's video, and press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Lines TV. Anyway, you guys, starting with the press conference, and there are a few interesting things. Now, when it comes to Eden Hazard, Sarri said that he's going to be playing up to 45 minutes, so obviously he's not fully fit just yet, and that is quite interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does start the game, and then we might see Ruben replacing him on the wing, because I think with Pedro as well, he's not really there just yet, and I think that Willian's been playing a lot as well, so Sarri's definitely going to rotate in those areas. When Sarri was asked whether Ruben might leave on loan in January, he said that at this moment in time, and you know, I'm stressing at this moment because that's what Sarri said. He has played 4 out of 5 games, so at this moment in time, they're not looking for him to leave on loan. But sometimes in football, you don't know what's going to happen. But I think with his recent form and what he's been doing, I think that, you know what, maybe Ruben should stay and should fight for a place, because Sarri is definitely encouraging him to improve his game and become the best player he can be. For example, Sarri was mentioning earlier that, Ruben, if you want to play as a midfield player, you have to improve tactically and defensively, and that's actually great to hear that the manager is telling you specifically what a player needs to improve upon. I think that with Ruben, and as I've always been saying, and as I've always been quite sympathetic to, is the fact that he hasn't been playing in midfield. At Palace, he's playing on the left, playing on the right. Under Conte, playing as a cam, up front, on the wings. He hasn't been playing in midfield, so it's natural that he's going to be very rusty there from a defensive point of view, but that's something that can be worked upon, that can be improved, and hopefully Ruben's not going to turn into that Steven Gerrard's type of player, in the sense that, you know, with Gerrard, most times throughout his career, he rarely played in central midfield. He either played, as an attacking mid on the right, as a deep line playmaker, never really in his box-to-box role. So I think that if Ruben wants to make that position his own, improve defensively and work on those weaknesses. And of course, Sarri did confirm the captaincy, and Gary Cahill's just going to continue to be the captain. So in a way, makes no sense as to why this was dragged on for so long. Why didn't he just continue the role from the start? Sarri said that he went to the squad. They said they had good things to say about him. I mean, really doesn't make too much sense. He's not going to be playing that much. I mean, it's not as if he was even really a captain for us, in my opinion, because Luis was the guy always leading people on the pitch and leading the defenders as well. So I don't really understand the point of this, in my opinion. But moving on to the predicted lineup part of this video, and I think we're going to see a pretty strong team. I think when it comes to substitutions, it might be pretty creative. As you guys can see, the team, of course, Kepa's going to come back. It's going to be our standard back four. I think that Ross Barkley might be playing over Kovacic in tomorrow's game, because I think he didn't play a part in the last game, and I think something like this happened last time, so I'm not going to be surprised to see Ross starting. And up front, I see it being Hazard, Morata and Pedro. I mean, Willian's been playing a lot of games. Is he going to be as fully fit and fully fresh? I mean, there's a reason why Pedro wasn't using the last one, and there's a reason why he did come on as a substitute. So I expect him to start in the game tomorrow, but I think for the substitutions, expect to see Ruben coming on, expect to see Willian coming on, and it's definitely going to be a pretty standard team that we've already seen. But I'm not going to be surprised to see Ruben playing on the wings when he does make his introduction. In my opinion, and you guys know, you know, I prefer for him to be a number 8. I think that if he actually just plays in that position, he's going to get better defensively much quicker, instead of just, you know, playing out of position and then just, you know, somehow working on that. Because when you're pressing in the wide areas and pressing centrally, a lot of times you see Ross actually joining up with the strikers to start with the pressing. Ruben can do that, but I think playing in that position will just accelerate his development even more. You guys, moving on now to the tactical preview of our position, Crystal Palace. And today, I'm joined today by Ollie from Talk Crystal Palace. Hey Ollie, how you doing?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Of course, you know, Crystal Palace, you know, they have won 2 of their last games at Stamford Bridge. So, you know, I am slightly nervous, of course, that threat from ZAHA.
Yeah.
Is it fair to call you guys ZAHA FC, or is that being a bit too disrespectful?
I think I wouldn't say it's unfair. I think that shouldn't be the case given the talent we have at our disposal. And you look at our squad on paper and you'd think there's far more to it than just Zaha. But, our record without him speaks for itself. We haven't won without him in the league since September 2016, I think it is now. And going forward, we really lack anything apart from him, to be honest. Townsend's output isn't good enough. We don't have a proper striker. Like, you'll see all of our good attacking play will go through Wilf at the weekend. And if he doesn't perform, then we don't perform. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah. And how do you feel about, obviously, Zaha playing a different role tactically? Of course, he's been playing much more central as like a centre forward in a sense. Do you think that this has brought out another side to his game where he's really grown a lot more? Or do you think that he does struggle at times playing up front?
I think a bit of both, really. I think the reason Roy likes playing him there is because it gives him more freedom. And obviously, as I said, because all of our good attacking play goes through him, if we stick him on the left wing, sometimes they can just overload, like the opposition can overload just one side and completely nullify him. Having said that, I don't think he is a proper centre forward. Like, if you played him in a 4-3-3 up top by himself, he wouldn't do a job that a striker should do, in my opinion. So I think it works quite well having him playing up front with someone else, whether that be Benteke, who's injured at the moment, unfortunately, or Sorloth or Townsend. And basically, while one player kind of plays the role of a traditional striker, he'll roam around, often still sticks to that left wing anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough because his best work is still out on the wing. He is a winger predominantly, but playing him up front just means he gets on the ball a bit more, and just generally, I think it improves our attacking play. But I spoke to Louis about this, and he spoke about how he thought Zaha could maybe play the Mertens role for Chelsea. And in my opinion, I just couldn't see that working. He's not a centre forward. He is predominantly a winger, and if there was more threat on the other side, as I said, Townsend doesn't really offer much at the moment. Having Wilf on one side, another wing on the other side, we could cause teams real problems.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And of course, with Crystal Palace, their counter-attacking threat, it's been quite decent at times.
Yeah, it's all right. Like, I think the lack of a proper centre forward doesn't help, because a lot of the time we get in good positions going forward, especially against you. We'll obviously look to counter, but the fact that we don't have anyone who's an out-and-out goal scorer who looks to make those runs in behind, is in the box, it does kind of hinder us at times, I think. But having said that, I think we've built up a real reputation for our counter-attacking since we came back up into the Premier League. And rightly so, we've got a lot of pace going forward, we move the ball really quickly. But I think under Roy as well, to be fair, we've developed more sides to our game. We're able to keep hold of the ball for a lot longer and kind of build progressive passing moves. But I mean, every big team knows when you play against Palace, we're going to look to counter-attack. And we've caused a lot of big teams a lot of problems in the past. So yeah, I mean, don't be surprised to see Townsend and Zaha really pushing at your fullbacks all the way through the game on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Palace, there's some decent quality in that team, obviously, with the fullbacks in Bissaka and Patrick Van Aanholt, who looks like he's really started to develop a lot more. I mean, he's always been great offensively with the ball, but defensively he's been improving in that sense. But of course, you're just talking about Crystal Palace and their counter-attacking threat. One man last season that was really key to you guys and really helped support Zaha as well, especially when Hodgson started to use started to play him down that left-hand side near the end of last season. But him and Zaha could link up, is Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, how much are you guys missing him? Is it an understatement to say that it's like a massive loss, or do you think that you've been coping well without him?
Kind of somewhere in the middle. I think Loftus-Cheek, obviously he missed a lot of the season through injury, and he was very, very inconsistent through spells as well. It was towards the end of the season where he really started to find his feet. And as you said, down that left-hand side, him, Zaha and Van Aanholt all linking up. It was just brilliant to watch at times. Some of the best football I've ever seen Palace play was down that left-hand side with those three. I think yeah, it was the end of the season form we really miss. I think he would definitely get in our team now, undoubtedly. And it was a real shame to hear Sarri come out and say that he wasn't planning on loaning Loftus-Cheek out again in January, because I really hoped we'd get him. I mean, it's kind of bittersweet watching him score a hat-trick against Borisov, because you're like, oh, brilliant. I'm really happy for him, because obviously I think Palace are quite good. When players leave us, we always like to, keep supporting them. Glenn Murray, for example, at Brighton, our arch rivals, we all still love him. So it was like great he's scoring, but also not great because we still want him back. Having said that, I don't think he's irreplaceable. And also, I don't think that even if we had got him back, it wouldn't have been for very long because it's so clear he's such a good player. I think we would have got him back on loan for like half a season. If we got him on a permanent, massive if, probably wouldn't have had him for more than 2 seasons. So whilst it was a shame, realistically, he was never going to have a long-term future at Palace. But yeah, at the same time, it's kind of a bit heartbreaking to watch him do so well at Chelsea, especially when he's not even first choice in midfield.
But are you guys missing out on his, his abilities on the ball and his dynamism, especially on the counter? Because I think one good thing about Ruben is that he always seems to make the right decisions on the counter attack. He can take that responsibility where he can drive with the ball and collect it, and also he knows when to lay off a pass and when to make the right decision in the final third. Do you think that Max Meyer's been able to be a suitable replacement for that, or it's just not the same?
I think they're very different players. Obviously, Max Meyer physically is nothing like Loftus-Cheek. And Loftus-Cheek's got that ability to, glide past pretty much anybody. I mean, we've seen Sarri play him out wide. Like, he has that ability to beat a man like a winger does. Having said that, Meyer offers something quite different, I think, in terms of Max Meyer can control the game a lot more. And I think that in terms of end product quality, I think he's better than Loftus-Cheek was. I think at times last season, Loftus-Cheek's build-up play didn't really match his end product because he was so good at linking up with players, but he only scored twice last season and got like 3 assists, I think. So he didn't do masses in terms of, actually creating stuff. Meyer's already proved instrumental in a lot of goals this season. Having said that, I think they're kind of, for Schalke last season, Meyer played in a much deeper role. And I think that's where probably long-term his future will be at Palace, is in a deeper role. But because we've just got nothing else going forward and he has played further forward before, we've played him in like a number 10 role. But they're such different players, it's hard to compare. But I think Loftus-Cheek, towards the end of last season, had a much bigger impact than Meyer has had so far. But having said that, Meyer hasn't had a really proper run in the first team yet, which Palace fans are confused about. Players like Jeffrey Schlupp are getting consistently picked ahead of him, which is just bizarre, to be honest. So
that typical Roy decision.
I mean, it is what it is, but hopefully that won't be for much longer and Meyer will get a run in the first team because he has undoubted quality.
I think maybe Meyer could be that replacement for Cabaye, really.
Oh, absolutely.
How they dictate the game and how they like to play. But yeah, of course, I need to ask you your score prediction because I'm feeling quite confident in that sense that with Palace, if we can stop their fullbacks getting forward, which we do quite well because we really do dictate things in the final third, I think that's going to limit the options for the forwards because I think they can then become isolated. And then I think that once they become isolated and with ZAHA maybe drifting deeper to try and find the ball, etc., that's going to ruin your guys' counter-attacking plans. But yeah, that's where I see us having a bit of an advantage. Of course, with Hazard's coming on for 45 minutes, as Sarri said. I can see Ruben maybe potentially playing again on either flank, maybe on the left, maybe on the right-hand side. But I am feeling confident for tomorrow. Me personally, I've gone for a 2-0 win. But how are you feeling about the game tomorrow? Do you think Palace can get something from it?
Honestly, you never know what happens with Palace. I mean, we have this very irritating knack of playing really, really well against the best teams, and then we play teams who we should be beating and we lose. So if you look at where we pick our points up from in a season, it just looks bizarre. Obviously, last season, great example. We lose our first 7 games and then beat Chelsea at home. So you never really know what can happen. Having said that, I think Chelsea this season are just a completely different animal under Sarri. I mean, one thing I always said about Chelsea was that you were great at getting results, but the football wasn't necessarily very attractive to watch, whereas now you're kind of getting that balance of both of those things. And at the end of the day, as a Palace fan, I can never ever go to Stamford Bridge and back us to get a result. Obviously, we've won there twice in the past 3 seasons, and we could have got something last season as well, but I think with the way we started this year, with the fact that we don't really have an out-and-out striker fit, I can't really see us getting anything from the game. I've said 2-0 before. I think I'll probably go 2-0 again. I think your defence is solid. And to be fair, I think ours is good as well. But, there's only so much you can do against an attack of your quality. And often the midfield are quite guilty of not really helping the defence out a lot of the time. So I think our back four, personnel-wise, is great. But they just get overexposed far too often. And I think it's just going to be a matter of you just constantly knocking on the door tomorrow until you find a way through. So I'm going to go 2-0 as well. But fingers crossed we can get something. Obviously with Palace, as I say, we like to do things the weird way, so you never know. But I can't.
You're
I can't.
100% right. Like, for example, Zaha always seems to have Azpilicueta on toast whenever they play. So hopefully Aspi's going to be on his best game tomorrow, because if they do get isolated, then, you know, Zaha's going to be very confident. But you know what? That's going to end the segment. Obviously, thank you, Ollie, for coming on. You guys, his YouTube channel is Talk Crystal Palace. So if you want to hear more of his thoughts and opinions on the game, make sure you go in the link in the description below to his channel. Ollie, anything else you want to plug?
Just my Twitter as well, at TalkCPFC. I've got a blog I've started writing to talkcpfc.video.blog. I kind of put my videos on there and link them to articles. Wrote one about Zaha and his diving reputation the other week, so go and check that out if you want proof that Zaha doesn't dive. But yeah, other than that, thanks for having me on.
Perfect, thanks. And thank you guys for watching today's match preview. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.